are loaded up and ready to go to Perkins, Oklahoma for a little open rodeo. We have Taz and Train in the back.
Do you love me? Do you need me?
It's Cowboy Christmas.
Do you want to go to Perkins to the rodeo in the rain? Sounds like a good time to me.
No, I'm serious. Like, we're on our way to Perkins and it looks like it might be raining up there now.
At least we're going to make it on time tonight.
So at least we'd make it on time tonight if it was, because they were an hour late getting to the jackpot last week.
I changed my mind.
How bad do you want a rodeo? In the rain. Woo! I had my first energy drink of life.
Started her with the red line. So Trisha and I are in Perkins, Oklahoma. We got in the slack again. So we're just kind of chilling, getting ready.
Then we're gonna go watch the grand entry because that's my favorite part of the rodeo.
We got Train and Taz.
Washed him, he's all dirty.
He runs better when he's dirty.
He's the most happiest when he's dirty.
How did we get started barrel racing? Trisha, how did we get started?
We were born barrel racing. How old were you, Jenna, when you entered your first barrel race? Do you remember?
I don't remember how old I was when I entered, but I know that my first buckle was in '96.
Weren't you 5?
I don't really remember.
You won it in Newell when you were like 5.
Yeah. So '96, but our family always had cattle and we grew up on a ranch. And so naturally we just entered some barrel races. They used to rodeo a little bit, like my mom was a rodeo queen and my dad used to calf rope and ride bulls.
Still feeling that energy drink.
Yeah, Trisha had her first energy drink ever tonight. And we have a visitor here too. This is the photographer that's been working with us. He came out to the ranch when we had ranch camp to shoot all the girls. And he is here at the rodeo. So I'm gonna take care of Taz's mane now, and I know that you guys are jealous of those long flowing locks, so this is actually what I use. And I get this at Walmart. It's awesome. It's like leave-in conditioner. And you can't ever have too much of it. It's good for their mane. It's like a detangler. Kind of a general rule of thumb, I never ever brush his mane when it's just dry because it breaks it. All right, Trisha, did Trisha train herself? Did you train?
I trained Train. I got Train off the track actually. I drove to Sallisaw, Oklahoma and picked him up straight off the racetrack, so he didn't go left, right, or stop, or back. All he knew was like forward and run off. And so I got him broke first and then put him on the pattern, and he's been really fun. He's gonna be really good. I'm excited about him. So I trained Train.
Taz came off of the track also. So we got a couple of race horses. Somebody asked how old they were.
Train is 5. I got him when he was 4, but he's 5 now, so I've had him a little over a year.
And Taz is 7. I got him when he was 4 also.
Yep.
What do you guys do to mentally prepare?
Okay, you talk about that and get his mane.
Okay. He really likes it when I spray him from a long ways away.
So we just get that at Walmart, right?
Yeah. It's for people also. Like if you are in a pinch, this is my actual hair doing station as well. But it's just leave-in conditioner. It's really good for them. But back to mental preparation, I just try to basically pretend like I'm under NFR type pressure every single run, because when I get there, I don't want it to be anything. I want it to just, be like I've always done. So even though I'm at a jackpot, I try to make the stakes in my mind really high so that I'm used to competing under pressure, if that makes sense, while still having a cool, calm, and collected exterior, like a game face on. Like, I don't want to be nervous. I just mean that I want to get the most out of myself and my horse every single run, even though some of these rodeos aren't for $100,000. Taz doesn't know that. So to give him the best experience possible, I try to do everything the same way every single time. And then when I do make the NFR, I'm gonna just do that, and he won't know the difference. He'll be like, where are we, Perkins, Oklahoma, or Vegas? I don't know. Like, I want my mental state to be so sharp, so focused, so ready that I can do weird moves, like go around the first barrel with my left hand, because that was needed in that situation. Or like to lift your leg. I don't feel like those are things that you can practice really. It's just something that happens in the moment, like a reaction. But if you're not really zoned in, I don't know if you can make that happen. So
Somebody said good luck, it's gonna rain. It might rain.
I kind of hope it does rain a little.
Yeah, this is what the skies look like. I don't know, I looked at the radar. It said there was like a 30% chance of raining, but somebody asked, what do you do to prepare for running in the rain?
Well, the ground at these like pro rodeos and kind of on the road, it's not always that great. So it is good to practice running in the rain just so your horse can get used to adverse footing, so that they know how to take care of themselves and stand up.
I was hoping that it would rain tonight so Train could run in the mud, because I haven't ran him in mud or rain yet.
And like a lot of horses will run as fast as you push them in there, and that's the idea. Like, I still want to run fast in the rain and on bad ground, but I want him to rate sooner, to stay straighter in his turns, and not, you know, spin out on the barrels. So just have a really great footing. But they don't know how to do that or how to deal with that until they've got a couple runs under their belt in adverse footing. So like those jackpots, like the real big jackpots or like NBHA stuff, that ground is so good there. It's like a totally different race. And there are some rodeo, like obviously some pro rodeos that have really great ground, and you can tell that it's reflected in the times, especially on a standard pattern. So like some rodeos in Utah have like the best ground ever, like Spanish Fork. That's always such a tough rodeo. The ground is just immaculate. And so like on a standard, you're looking at real low 17s, and I think even a 16 won it last year, where there might be a different rodeo, exact same pattern, and you're looking at a mid 17 range, even long 17s placing on a standard. So it really just, ground makes such a big difference to what they're gonna run. If a couple hundredths of a second is a big difference.
Do you know where all you're going in Utah?
I for sure am entered in Vernal on the 7th in the slack after the performance. And then we just entered Ogden. I should have a call back in my inbox right now, actually. Where else do we go? We're going to Elko, Nevada, Riverton, Wyoming. I will post my schedule on my website so that you guys know exactly, but we will be adding, you know, dates to our rodeo calendar as we get callbacks.
Let's tell them what we're doing tomorrow and over the 4th.
So tomorrow we leave for California, for Bakersfield, for the Wrangler National Patriot Tour.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we're going to visit the Special Warfare Training Center, where they basically take special op guys and show them how to ride horses. And there's a sniper portion of that school there too, but it's really cool because they take Mustangs to train them on. So
are all their horses their Mustangs?
Yep. And then they have pack mules too, because they teach them how to pack, how to like tie loads and balance it, and work with mules, which are totally different than horses.
That'll be really fun to see. I'm excited.
It's really interesting. So it's in the mountains, and they get a lot of, you know, horseback time in, but it's a cool school because, I mean, in Afghanistan you may run into a horse or may commandeer a horse, and that can be really helpful, but not unless you know how to ride it. So it's not a very long, like, they're not going to be able to come barrel race, but they're going to be able to ride from point A to point B.
Yeah, if they stumble on a horse.
If they come across a horse in country, and that's basically the point of that school, which is really cool. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll go tour the training program that they have. And I went on this tour a couple years ago, and they got to teach us how to shoot those sniper rifles, like real big caliber. That was fun. We got to do a ranch rodeo with the Marine team, so they compete, even though, you know, they're not quite as handy as a lot of the ropers, but they still give it a good try. And There's a parade, of course, on the 4th, and then a big cookout, and we basically are just in the community, you know, thanking them for supporting that Marine Warfare Training Center there, because it's such a big deal in the special operations world.
And somebody said, "Where is Noodle?" He's tied over there to the trailer.
Does anybody else use roping reins for a leash? Go about you.
Yeah, he's tied up with rope and reins over there.
Oh, we got. Oh.
All right, I don't want to miss the grand entry.
Okay.
It's my favorite part.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Wish us luck. We will let you know how we do.
Whoa.
We just got done running. It's 2 in the morning and we have a 2-hour drive home. We're finally rodeoing. Finally. So let's watch my run again and I'll tell you my thoughts on it, because there's a few things that I loved and a few things that I want to keep in mind for next time in a similar setup. So starting out, I knew that I needed to really push him into that first barrel. Not that it was up against the fence, but it was just kind of a longer run, and I really wanted him to be as fast as he could be going into first. And I think I did a pretty good job of that. I checked him a little bit early just because it was a little ways from the fence, but I was so far back that we really got a good start in the alley. We were running by the time we hit the arena, and then boop, boop. There you see me tug on him just about 3 times to check him into first, and we had a great first barrel. He has been doing outstanding on his first, and he stepped just a step by it, just a little ways by it, but I don't mind that here, just because his feet were moving the whole time. And then the main thing I was focused on in this run, the main thing I've been working on, is as soon as we turn that first barrel, right, getting lined out and running in a straight hard line to the second. So you'll see right here my left hand is already up on the rein because I'm really wanting to help his shoulder and get him moved over and get him in a good straight line to second. So to do that, instead of pulling with my right hand and kind of tipping his nose to the right and his body still moving in the direction that he wants to go, my strategy is to instead put my left hand on the rein, use my left foot, pick his shoulder up, and get him running real straight right there. And so you can see he really didn't fight me right there, hardly at all. I was really happy with his run straight across the pen. And then in the past couple runs, we've had trouble getting by the second. So another goal of mine was to run him directly to the point that I wanted him to be at the second barrel, and then just a step past it, so we for sure get around. And this being a little bit bigger of a pen with the barrels off the fence, he was a lot more freed up, so he got way by it. And again, I really won't fault him on that, just because that's how I was riding him. And I really didn't check him hardly at all. I was really just pushing him past. I just wanted him to get past. And our line to third is always usually pretty good. I checked him plenty early on third just because you can see how clear out in the middle of nowhere it is, and I wasn't sure if he would run by it, just because I felt in my run that bam, he ran by first a little bit, ran by second a little bit, and I really didn't want to get out of hand on third, so I checked him pretty hard, pretty early going into third. And I don't know if you can see that there or not, but his head comes up right there. That's when I'm pulling on the rein, and he's like, "Mom, no," and he turns it really nice. And then we run home, and I'm batting him on the way home just to free him up. I really want him to be running. Came to a shut gate, which I didn't know if we were going to actually get stopped, but you can see there's a bit of an alley, so you have to go into that little bit of a catch pen. You can curl off to the side, but I definitely don't recommend doing that just because it can get dangerous. And they get a little confused where you want them to go. So I just recommend going straight into the fence and pulling up. And since I batted him on the way home, he really did kick it up a notch on the way home, and I just felt him reach a new gear. And I want him to do that between every barrel and on the way to first, and so I'm glad that I did it. I probably won't carry a bat with me, you know, next time. I'll just be focused on riding him to the best of my ability. Sometimes when I get a bat in my hand or have the intent to do something like that, I'll lose a little bit of focus on my riding and my precision, so I'll throw it in there every once in a while, but for the most part I just really want to be focused on my hand placement and pushing him with my feet, not necessarily spurring him, just kind of hurrying him along. I don't like to kick the air out of him or really get to kicking on him. The only time that I will kind of spur on him is going into the barrels if he feels like he's out of position. So I do wear spurs for that reason, but like on the way home when I'm flagging him with my feet, let's see if we can get to the way home. I mean, I'm kicking, but for the most part I don't want to kick the air out of him. I just want him to be focused on running, and if you'll notice, jockeys, they aren't kicking either, they're batting. So yeah, that's what I went with for this run. Some things that I'm going to work on, just being able to judge the setup and the situation. So since those barrels were kind of off the fence, a lot bigger pattern, I probably should have known that he would be more apt to run by them in this scenario. And if I'm being super critical, I should have rode him better at the first and the second, exactly how I did at the third, to shave off a little bit more time. But overall, really happy with this run. Happy about our line from first to second. That was my main focus, and getting plenty by the first and second barrel, because we had been having a little bit of trouble keeping those upright. So if I'm practicing him at all, you know, I'm just going to keep on doing the same thing, just kind of walk, trot through, you know, do muscle memory for myself. I don't feel like he needs any major fixes, so I'm going to let him take it easy, rest up before our run to Utah, where we're going to start entering with the pros and see if we can hang. So great confidence booster, great time here in Oklahoma. We were just 1 out of the money. They only paid 3, dang it. But overall, really happy with him. So stay tuned for more from the Rodeo Trail episodes. I really like doing it, and please give me feedback, comments, and whatever else below.
Do you love me?